Okay. Are you lying?
Feels like we're stuck in frozen time, forgetting to kiss me a good night. I wouldn't dare to ask twice. I listen to the same goddamn cassettes, and the radio's try to test. No more can we go on like this. It's a two-way street. I hope you change your ways. You're always playing games. Our love hasn't been the same for a while. You think that love remains? Well, that's okay. You just play a video game. You just play a video game. I hope you
Step further by teaching.
You're always playing games. Our love hasn't been the same for a while. You think that love remains? Well, that's okay. You just play a video game. Go ahead and play. Miss
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind Fantasy official live stream for this NBA 11-game slate. This stream is officially sponsored by Jock Market. Hang tight. About 30 minutes left in our live stream. We will be discussing all of our favorite plays on Jock Market. For you guys who don't know what Jock Market is, it's one of the most innovative, best daily fantasy sports platforms right now in the market. It's one of the easiest ways to play. You guys buy and sell certain players, watch their stock rise, and you cash out. It's as simple as that, guys. We will talk more about that a little bit later on in the stream. But first, let's go ahead and dive right into our DraftKings plays, TJ. We have an 11-game slate, so plenty to cover. We're going to start right out the gate by talking about your Boston Celtics, and we'll also talk about Detroit because that game has a lot of injuries in general. Let's start out with your Boston Celtics, though, with Kemba Walker being officially out, TJ. Let's hear your thoughts on the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, Matt. So we're looking at Langford, Marcus Smart, Kemba, and Robert Williams all looking to sit tonight against Detroit in the back-to-back. So I do have a lot of interest here, and specifically in three guys. I'm looking at Jason Tatum at 8,800 with a disrespectful price tag, honestly. Projected at 38 minutes right now. With all those guys off the floor, he gets a 3.4% usage bump, 1.46 fantasy point per minute, and a 34.5% overall usage rate. I have him pegged for 57.4 DraftKings points right now. I really like Jason Tatum at 8,800. I think he's very undervalued, especially with Marcus Smart and with Kemba Walker both sitting tonight. So I do like JT. I also have some interest in JB at 7,800, projected at 36 minutes. Gets a little bit of a usage bump, 1.28 fantasy point per minute, 31% usage rate. So I do have interest there. I think I'd rather go to JT tonight, honestly, at 8,800. And then Peyton Pritchard starting tonight at point guard. 3,800 Matt, projected around 30 minutes, gets a 1% usage bump, 0.86 fantasy point per minute, and a 17% usage rate. So I do like Pritchard tonight as a really cheap option for these Boston Celtics. I have him projected at 25.15 DraftKings points. I'm not going to chase the Semi Ojeleye performance from last night where my man was just banging 6 threes. Absolutely smash value. I think he was 10 times. So at 3,100 Matt tonight, starting again, potentially starting. We don't have an official starting lineup. I'm assuming Pritchard does start. He should. And then with Semi, we will have to wait and see. People will have some interest there. He's a 3% usage bump, 0.76 fantasy point per minute. Him and Carson Edwards will be deep punt plays for me. But in terms of cash, I like Jason Tatum. I like Peyton Pritchard. And I do have a little bit of interest in JB, but I prefer Tatum and Pritchard.
Yep. It's because he averages so many fantasy points per minute with these guys off the court. I completely agree with you. And a very soft matchup versus Detroit. 211 is the only thing that scares me, TJ. That is the lowest by far. But again, if you're looking at a guy like Peyton Pritchard, $3,800, projected 30 minutes, it's going to be very hard for him not to hit value. I think he's going to be chalk of the chalk right now. He's showing second highest owned on the slate, 34.6% ownership. I believe it just updated right in front of my eyes. Yes, it did. 34.6% right now on Peyton Pritchard. And then I do think Jason Tatum is cash viable. I don't know if I'm going to be able to land on him, TJ, but I do like Jason Tatum. And Super Draft, he's looking nice. Very nice over there.
Very nice in Super Draft.
Yes, he does. But yeah, completely agree with everything you just said. Let's switch over to Detroit, where we have even more ownership on some of these guys. Isaiah Stewart is our favorite guy after what happened to Mason Plumlee last night. We automatically pivoted in Discord, and a lot of people were able to take advantage of him being only $3,100 last night. He's going to be the same price tag tonight. 31 projected minutes right now. Is there anything more to say, TJ? What are your thoughts on Isaiah Stewart starting at $3,100?
Yeah, no, looks really good last night against the Pacers, Matt, getting the start for the late scratch of Mason Plumlee. Well, not the late scratch, but yeah, I guess it was somewhat of a late scratch. So I do like Isaiah Stewart, obviously, again tonight, Matt. There isn't really too much that's needed to be said about him. $3,100, projected around 32-ish minutes, 0.9 fantasy point per minute. Don't care about the usage rate. He's a big down low at a very cheap price playing 30 minutes. So I definitely love him tonight as a cash lock. I'm going to be the chalkiest guy on the slate. And that's pretty obvious. So yes, I do like him. It's a really good matchup too against the Celtics bigs. So Isaiah Stewart cash lock for me for sure.
Are you going back to the well tonight? Jeremy Grant was a huge letdown. He's playing an even tougher defense tonight. $7,500 still is relatively cheap. Are you taking a stab at him in cash?
I think you can go there, Matt. Again, so we talked about this in the Discord. I mean, given the same situation that we could see with Mason Plumlee off the floor, I still like going back to a guy like Jeremy Grant. He had 17 shots last night, only hit 4 of them, so it was an off night for him. And with that being said, I think the production and the opportunity will still be there for him. With Plumlee off the floor, you got to take off Derrick Rose as well, Killian Hayes. This is a guy that gets a 1.5% usage bump. He's a 1.13 fantasy point per minute and the highest usage rate on the team at 28.2%. So I have him right now pegged for 41.29 DraftKings points. So in terms of cash, I don't want to go too heavy on this game. So I honestly might be taking Isaiah Stewart, Pritchard, and Tatum. I think that's where my interest really lies. If you're going to Grant, I don't hate him at 7,500. Probably going to be more of a tournament play for me tonight. I also have some interest in some of these other guys for Detroit. Josh Jackson intrigues me. Wayne Ellington, Sadiq Bey is in the mix. Sadiq Bey being the guy that I'm least excited about. And then DeLon Wright also at 6K. I like all these guys, Matt, mostly tournament plays. But Isaiah Stewart will be a cash lock for sure.
Sorry, dogs were going nuts.
You good?
I think they still are. Completely agree with everything you just said. I think Isaiah Stewart's going to be the only real cash lock for me right now at $3,100. Let's move along to the next chalk here on the slate. Washington Wizards are without Bradley Beal, TJ. So what does that do to this picture? Is Russell Westbrook finally viable? I mean, I know we hate playing him, but he has to be now, right?
Yeah, no, he is 100%. And also, we just got the lineup, Matt. Garrison Matthews starting at the 2 at 3K becomes viable as well. But when we're looking at Russ with no Beal, he gets a 9.2% usage bump, 1.59 fantasy point per minute, 39.7% total usage. I have him pegged for 60.77 DraftKings points. So I obviously love Russ tonight. I'll be locking him in cash. That scares the shit out of me to say out loud, but I do think he's in a fantastic spot here. Should be a remotely close game against the New York Knicks. The Wizards are actually 3-point home dogs. So I do like this type of matchup here for Russ, and I do like the upside here. So I do like him for cash. I think it'd be a sharp fade in tournaments. I think he's going to carry a lot of ownership. But yes, for cash, I do like him. Besides that, like I just said, we did just get word that Garrison Matthews is going to start at the 2 and at 3K, Matt, projected at 24 to 26 minutes now, 2.4% usage bump with no Beal, 0.92 fantasy point per minute. So I also think Garrison Matthews is viable. I would assume that his ownership will continue to climb throughout the stream and get up there with guys like Peyton Pritchard and Isaiah Stewart. So I do think he is viable as well. I have some interest in Hachimura. Honestly, Matt, 7% usage bump with no Bradley Beal, 1.06 fantasy point per minute, second highest usage on the team at 26.1%. So I do like him. Again, more of a tournament play. Denny Avdija, I do have some interest in more in tournaments. And then Alex Len, I also have a little bit of interest in for tournaments.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm looking at cash, it's going to be Westbrook and Garrison Matthews. And when I'm looking at tournaments, Hachimura is probably my favorite play from the Wizards. But again, I do have some other interest in some of those other guys as well.
Yep. Russell Westbrook, 26.9% ownership right now. I think he's one of the most obvious plays on the entire slate, TJ. Just seeing what the usage rate is looking like. Think back to OKC when he was the only guy there. This is something similar. He's going to be having all the usage in the world, and he's only $9,000. If he was that price tag on OKC, it would be absurd. So Russell Westbrook, definitely a great play tonight for cash. And like you said, Hachimura appears really well on our sheet, TJ. 6 point per dollar value, averages 1.07 fantasy points per minute, I do believe. 1.06. A very good play in general. Playing 32 minutes.
I'm at 38. I'm at 38.5 DraftKings points right now.
So a very solid, I'd say, GPP option, TJ, just because he has 7.4%. What's up?
What is his super draft multiplier?
I can actually check on that.
I'm gonna look at it right. I'm gonna look at it right now. A couple sick boys.
Yeah, guys, I don't know what the new hate on TJ's mustache is. We had that last night too, I believe. Unless you randomly got it overnight. Yeah, they're roasting you.
Well, no, I shaved my beard. I just have the mustache.
Oh.
See how observant my partner is? It's unbelievable. I've been in a chat with him for 25 minutes, and the kid's just delusional. Okay. It's my partner, ladies and gentlemen. He is,
you know what? Hachimura isn't even on the slate, TJ, because remember that game?
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
We mentioned that. We mentioned that. Yep. Yeah. All right. We'll pretend like that didn't happen. Move past it, everybody. All right. So, Washington Wizards. Very good plays here on the slate, specifically Russell Westbrook for cash, Hachimura for GPPs. TJ, let's move along the line here. Talking about ownership, next on the list is going to be Vucevic. Vucevic playing the Sacramento Kings. No defense. We talk about this every single night, TJ. With Orlando, we still have some pending injury news, I do believe. Yes, we still have Cole Anthony,
We have a lot,
Aminu,
yep.
Fournier, so everything's up in the air still. We were all aboard the Frank Mason train. That didn't pan out. But it would have worked, right, if he didn't die.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, Vucevic, 24.8% ownership, 5 point per dollar value right now, and that's not updated because it looks like Fantasy Cruncher reset all my stats. So what's your take on Vucevic and his updated projection, so I can have it?
Yeah, so I haven't run numbers yet on Orlando, obviously, because we are pending some really big injury news. We saw it last night with all of those guys getting ruled out after lock, Matt. We're talking about Sacramento, who is last in defensive efficiency so far this year. Washington not far behind them, but those are the two worst defensive teams right now in the NBA. PJ Washington just got ruled out for health protocols. Okay. So we need to PJ Washington for Charlotte. So that's something we need to figure out. Excuse me. But yeah, Matt. So last night we saw some really interesting stuff happen with the Magic. And when all these guys got ruled out, so Aaron Gordon obviously had been out. We had Aminu out. We had Cole Anthony out. We had Evan Fournier out. I immediately pivoted to the Magic in a 9-man rotation. I actually played 4 of them in my single line. I think I got a little bit lucky with James Ennis because he was really good, but he did play a lot of minutes, and that's what's going to happen when you have short rotations. So when we saw Frank Mason leave the game, Matt, Terrence Ross was their primary point guard because they didn't have anybody else to be a ball handler. They started the second half with Terrence Ross, Gary Clark, Dwayne Bacon, James Ennis, and Nikola Vucevic. Like, that is an absolutely absurd starting 5. Terrence Ross also, Matt, in that second half played 23 of 24 minutes. So there were a lot of guys getting a lot of minutes because when Frank Mason left the game, there were only 8 guys in that rotation. So now we have to think about it like this. We know Aaron Gordon, we know Frank Mason are out. We're pending Aminu, Cole Anthony, and Evan Fournier. We do have Michael Carter-Williams back, who could potentially start at the 1. But then again, he's coming back from a foot injury, Matt, and he hasn't played in over a month. So I would obviously assume that he's going to be on some sort of minute restriction here. So that would draw me to have some interest in guys like Terrence Ross at 5,600, because if this is the same situation where Fournier and Cole Anthony are out, like, he could play 36 minutes again and be the primary ball handler. It's a guy that last night had a 33% usage rate. So the ball was in his hands a lot, as well as Vooch. Obviously, Vooch banging down low with these Sacramento bigs is something that I'm interested in at 9,400. We saw him last night against Golden State in the same type of situation. He's a guy that can play 40-ish minutes if they need him to. And with the tight rotation that we potentially could see, he might be thrusted into that again, Matt. So I do like Vucevic. I'll have some interest in these other guys. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this Magic situation like we did last night, because if Cole Anthony and Fournier get ruled out, it makes for another great pivot, especially in tournaments. So I would have my eye on guys like Terrence Ross and James Ennis, and potentially Okiki as well.
Okay, and all that is pending right now. This game does start at 10 o'clock, guys, so be wary of playing guys from this game, because we technically don't know what's going to happen with these injuries. Anything could happen, but I'd say some great late-night pivots, TJ. I think regardless, Vucevic and if Cole Anthony does play are both cash viable. Do you agree with that?
If Cole Anthony plays?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. I'll definitely have interest in Vooch. And then Cole Anthony at 5,200 would be too cheap for me. But again, it's dependent on if him or Fournier, one's out, one's in, both out. Like, it's something we need to monitor.
Yeah, definitely going to monitor that. And you guys will need to join the Discord to hear our updated takes on that after luck. All right, let's move over to some more chalk. I have a lot of interest, DJ, in this Utah-Milwaukee game yet again. Let's start with the Utah side, because we have Conley still out for these guys. Jordan Clarkson's at a crazy low price tag of $5,700. 29 projected minutes right now. Could play upward of 32, I'd say, in a very competitive matchup. A 2-point spread right now on Utah, which is actually pretty... I did not expect that. That's actually
best team in the NBA right now.
21.5% ownership on Jordan Clarkson. So right now he's carrying a good amount of ownership. Donovan Mitchell also $8,200, 36 projected minutes, 15.7% ownership. Those two guys, are they cash viable, TJ, in this specific matchup versus Milwaukee, which, by the way, is now the highest over-under on the entire slate?
Yeah, highest over-under on the entire slate, Matt. I do have some interest here. Gobert at 7,500 piques my interest a little bit. Donovan Mitchell at 8,200 also piques my interest. I think Donovan Mitchell would probably be my favorite play here at 8,200. Currently projected at 36 minutes, gets a little bit of a usage bump with no Conley, 1.23 fantasy point per minute and a 32% usage rate. Have him pegged right now for 44.4 DraftKings points, and that's not even talking about the up pace that we could potentially see here going up against the Bucks. So I really do like Donovan Mitchell in this spot at 8,200. I think you can go there and cash. I don't know if I will because I do have interest in Tatum, Westbrook, Vooch, what have you. So it might be tough for me to get Mitchell, but I think it's a viable option. I don't know about Jordan Clarkson. Just the 5,700 price tag looks good. I don't think he's going to carry as much ownership as we think, Matt.
Okay.
Roto has him at 11%, and I kind of like that number more than the 20-ish% that Fantasy Cruncher has. But yeah, it is cheap. He's a 1.02 fantasy point per minute off the bench for them. He easily could play 30 minutes, and it is a really good matchup. But I think right now my favorite play is going to be Donovan Mitchell at 8,200.
Okay, yeah, I like these guys just in terms, I'd say, of GPPs, just because of this matchup versus Milwaukee.
GPPs, yeah.
But Jordan Clarkson definitely has a last piece, I would say, for cash at $5,700, and also Donovan Mitchell. Any interest in these guys, these other Utah guys? I know that Rudy Gobert probably has one of the best matchups all season versus Brook Lopez, so at $7,500, you have interest for him and GPPs.
Yeah, I said I do like Brook Lopez. I do like you. Got me saying, bro. I do like Gobert as a tournament play. Yeah, 1.34 fantasy point per minute without Conley. The only thing I get bullish on are his minutes. He's not going to play anything crazy lately, especially because Favors has been giving him some pretty good minutes here.
Yeah.
But I do like Gobert as a tournament play. If we can see a competitive game, Matt, which we should, he could play
Definitely
36 minutes. So yeah, so I do like him as a tournament play. But yeah, I still think that Donovan Mitchell is my favorite play here at 8,200.
All right, I completely agree with that. Let's move over to the other side of the ball, Milwaukee. With Drew Holiday off the court, Chris Middleton is still showing a fantastic fantasy point per minute output at 1.47 fantasy points per minute, 25.7% usage rate. We know he's a shooter, so we're not expecting him to have the highest usage rate on the team. Giannis has the highest at 33.3%, 1.68 fantasy points per minute. And again, I just took Drew Holiday off the court. Didn't take the other two bozos off. Let's take a look at this picture, TJ. All these price tags are still relatively low, and even Brolo. Brolo is really cheap, if I remember correctly. Where is he? There he is, $4,800, 29 projected minutes. Do you have any interest here in the Milwaukee Bucks? I'll say this, in cash.
Not in cash. If I were to go anywhere, it'd probably be Middleton at 8K, honestly, with no Drew Holiday, 2% usage bump, 1.47 fantasy point per minute, 26% usage rate, like you just talked about. So I do like Middleton at that 8K price tag. Dante DiVincenzo pops a little bit on the sheet, also Matt at 5,400, projected at 30 minutes, 2.5% usage bump with no Drew Holiday, 0.98 fantasy point per minute. I have him pegged for 30 DraftKings points. You talked about Brolo, 4,800. I do think he's a pretty good cheap option. Going to need his size against Gobert. Currently projected at 4,800, Matt, 28 minutes, 1% usage bump with no Drew Holiday, and a 0.98 fantasy point per minute. I think Middleton's my favorite play in Giannis.
Yes.
I think, again, it's one of those guys that's going to
is.
go off. We saw it 2 games ago. It was Middleton against Denver, and then we saw it last game. It was Giannis against Phoenix. So again, I think one of those guys is going to break the slate and be in the optimal between Giannis and Middleton. So I want to have cracks at both of those guys. I prefer Middleton tonight, but there's no denying that Giannis could easily go for 70, especially if this game does stay competitive against Utah.
Yep.
I will have some interest in Dante DiVincenzo as a tournament play, Matt. Bryn Forms also I might have some interest in, but besides those guys, I was high on Connaughton, Torrey Craig, and DJ Augustine last time, and they burned me against Phoenix.
Hold on,
so
TJ.
I'm assuming
My headset just died. Keep talking.
Hi, can you hear me? Keep talking in terms to everybody? Okay. Hi, everybody. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go there again, but I already know that they're all going to play really well because I was on them last game, and I'm probably going to be off of them now.
I'm back. Sorry,
I was talking about how you're good. I was talking about how I was on DJ Augustine, Torrey Craig, and Pat Connaughton as those cheaper Bucks guys last game against Phoenix, and they all sucked. So now tonight I'll probably be bullish on them, and they'll all play well.
Yeah, that's exactly what will happen for sure. All right, let's move on down the line. Wait, I actually don't think we have any more cash plays to cover. Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell,
we have to try and figure out Charlotte. Yeah, Lucas carrying some ownership.
Yeah, you are right. We have to cover Charlotte. Luka is covering some.
Luka's garnering some ownership, and I think it's because there's some really cheap options in Stewart, Pritchard, and now I talked about Garrison Matthews being an option as well, Matt. So it's just it looks like kind of a studs and duds type lineup tonight because you do have that salary relief in some of those cheap guys that are starting and getting some minutes. So that's why I think Luka's ownership is up. That's a little bit higher than we've seen lately because we haven't seen too much value as of late as these cheap plays.
All right.
So yeah, I need to go ahead. Go ahead. I need to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Charlotte right now with you. Both Martins are out, so that's gonna change the entire slate.
And we still have Devontae Graham. Why is everybody ripping on me? I just looked at the TJ's, got the Uncle Rico stash. I was waiting for y'all to hate on TJ's stash. TJ's growing out the stash.
Yeah.
Been here 5 minutes, and I just noticed the stash. Thought it was fake. Okay, the stash has got to go. Come on, Sydney. What is happening?
I didn't even notice all that.
Man, guys, I try to grow out a stash, and everybody just hates me. Like, come on.
Yeah, TJ is feeling soup, believe it or not. All
Better
right.
than that scruffy shit I had with my stupid beard. Like, at least this looks. I don't know. It's bad. I get it. It's not good. I'll shave it now. You guys are shaming me.
We'll save that for another stream, right? All right. Let's convert these guys over. Gordon Hayward, 1.16 fantasy points per minute. Right now, he's projected to play 38 minutes. That's a little high, isn't it?
No.
No?
He could play 38 in a competitive game.
Okay, he shows very well.
I think the only guy. Yeah, so he's gonna show well, and then we're gonna have to change Bridges here, I would assume, because he's gonna be the guy that gets the uptick in minutes. Where's Graham? 0.84, 19.7. Bridges. So I'm gonna put Bridges to 34 minutes, Matt. Man, it still doesn't do it, huh?
They're still going hard at you. Jeez.
Really? Are they still coming at me?
Yeah, they're still coming at your throat.
Oh, you guys are mean.
Yeah.
Mean ass people. 1.07. Bridges really 5,800.
Sorry for both of us dying, guys. We will be better eventually.
Bridges is expensive. I actually like the stash. Abby, thank you. Abby likes the stash. I don't hate the mustache, but it definitely caught my eye. But hey, TJ can throw a football over the mountains. Joe, you know I can. Don't lie to him, said Tommy. Abby, you lying to me? Abby's lying to me. Tommy's calling her out. Put some milk on that stash and get your cats. I don't have a cat, Will. I have a dog. I will not let Chips do that either. Dear God, that's a mustache. Come on, jeez. Guys, it's the best that I can do, okay? I just puberty's been weird for me. I'm 29, it's hitting me late. You know, just some people are more blessed than others when it comes to facial hair. I'm not one of them. Not one of them.
All right, I just computed the numbers, TJ. Gordon Hayward's the only guy that we're considering, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Bridges is going to carry some ownership, I think, Matt, just because he'll be thrusted into that starting role. And yeah, he might carry some ownership. I'd make him more of a tournament play for me, just because that price tag is a little rich. With those guys off the court being the two Martins and PJ Washington, I pegged him for 34 minutes. He's only a 0.78 fantasy point per minute. So yeah, Gordon Hayward would be the guy that catches my eye.
All right. Yes, I completely agree with that. Gordon Hayward averages 1.16 fantasy points per minute with these guys off the court. $7,300 in this price tag, projected right now at 38 minutes. Just a very good GPP play, TJ. But I'd say that he's not cash viable, just more GPP for us.
Who is that?
Gordon Hayward. Yep.
Excuse me. I think his ownership's going to come up a little bit here, Matt. Really good matchup against Minnesota. I think you can go there.
Okay.
I think you can.
I want to ask you this question next, TJ. I'm gonna throw a little curveball at you. Is tonight the night that we can finally start playing Karl Anthony Towns, TJ? $9,300, 33 minutes. I've been waiting for this moment all season long. Can we do it tonight?
Yeah, you have.
It's a great matchup.
I like the matchup. Yeah, it's a great matchup against Charlotte. He's carrying low ownership. I'll tell you, Matt, he's somebody I'm going to be high on in the tournament. So he's showing 10% ownership. So I'm going to be overweight on him if I'm running my 20 lines tonight like I normally do. So yes, I will have some interest there in Cat at 9,300. I think that's very cheap. It's a good matchup against Zeller. No PJ Washington now either. So yeah, I think you can throw Cat out there. I don't know if I'd go there in cash, like I said, but for tournaments, yes.
Yeah, I just keep looking at him and his price tag. We know that's low. We're used to seeing him between that 10 to 11K range when he's playing fully healthy and playing his 35 plus minutes. But projected right now at 33 minutes. He did play 31 minutes last game, so do think that's a little conservative. Yeah. So we will see. We will see how he does in this matchup for Charlotte, and then we'll get a better understanding of what he's doing going forward. All right, TJ, we covered all of the major cash options. Do you want to switch to GPP? Do you want to go to questions? How do you want to do this?
Let's
Because we do have to
go-
get to Jock Market here relatively
We
soon.
do have to get to Jock Market. Yep, that is a priority. Yeah, we can talk about some tournament plays, and then we
Okay.
can do our cash core if you want.
All right, let's do it.
Or we
So
can give that out at the end. Make
yeah,
people
let's
wait.
give that out at the very end.
Keep 'em on edge.
A team we didn't mention, sorry, a team we did not mention, Chicago. Chicago has a ton of injuries, TJ. Zach LaVine is always popping on our chart in relatively close matchups. Right now, it's a 7-point spread. So this is like teetering on that line of whether it should be a blowout or not. If it does stay competitive, you know how much we love Zach LaVine. Same thing as Giannis in those types of matchups, except quite the opposite. We're hoping that these guys can keep it close in the other direction. Usually they are the ones getting blown out. 5.8% TJ. 54.36 points is what I'm projected at right now. 5.9 point per dollar value. And also in Super Draft, I believe his multiplier is like 1.45, which is also criminal. Makes 0 sense whatsoever. So, Zach LaVine, I love him in all formats. I love him in absolutely everything except for cash games. Kobe White, also not that bad of an option. 6.3K, averaging 1.07 fantasy points per minute. I like him as well as a GPP option. Spurs, we can target because they're without Aldridge. So, you know, if you want to dance with DeMar, 5.9% ownership, 5.4 point per dollar value. Jakob Hurtel at 28 minutes, 5.7 point per dollar value. Love those guys as well. Let's see who else I'm missing. Oh, do you want to talk about OKC? Because Horford apparently is the best player on the planet with these current injuries.
Yeah, 1.68 fantasy point per minute. Yeah, it's just absolutely asinine.
So
Devontae
I love him
Graham
as well.
available. Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
He is available?
Yep, Devontae Graham will play.
So yeah, that should keep the ownership low on Gordon Hayward. So yeah, 3.8% ownership on Al Horford, 6.3 point per dollar value. Right now, I think we have him projected at like 50-something points on our sheet, which is just absolutely crazy. On the other side of the ball, Jokic should be very low owned, 10.7K. Another great pay-up option just because this is projected to be a blowout right now, 9.7% ownership, a 5.3 point per dollar value. And those are going to be my favorite plays, TJ. I know I'm going past a couple. Kyle Anderson, another good one. 6K, averaging over a fantasy point per minute in 32 minutes. We always talk about Kyle Anderson. He's just Mr. Consistent. Always is killing it. So I do like him here at that price tag as well. Did I miss anybody?
Oh, man, you talked about everybody. I think no, I think I can agree with you on most of those guys, Matt. I have a lot of interest in a guy like DeMar DeRozan again tonight, even at 8K. So I like him for tournaments. I like Trae Young also showing some lower ownership at 10K
another good
for
one.
tournaments. Who else? You didn't talk about Kawhi. I do like Kawhi. Again, tournaments only. I love LaVine. I love LaVine at 9,200, like you talked about, Matt. 6.8% usage bump with all these guys off the floor. 1.51 fantasy point per minute. 37% usage rate. I have him pegged for 58 DraftKings points, so I do like him. Garrett Temple's also a guy that kind of pops a little bit, Matt, on the sheet. A cheaper option there for Chicago. Talked about Horford. Yeah, some interest there. Diallo's been playing really good with all these guys off the floor, so I have interest there. We talked about Jokic. I can agree with you there. Donovan Mitchell, I really like in tournaments. Joe Val, I like in tournaments. Kyle Anderson as well. Andre Drummond at 8,200 going up against Portland. I really like that matchup for him. His minutes have been coming up a little bit now because they've been using him and Jarrett Allen together. So I do like him. I like JB in tournaments at 7,800. A lot of people were frustrated with him last night. He shot 3 of 14 and still hit value. So imagine if he's shooting 8 of 14 and hitting some of those jumpers. It's a completely different night for him. And then Julius Randle at 9,100, Matt, going up against Washington.
Yeah, that's another great one.
Up-paced match for them. I really like me some Julius Randle tonight. Only showing 7% ownership. He's somebody I'm definitely going to be overweight on.
Sorry, I was coughing. I didn't mean to
call
cause. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know how you got that in there.
He said, I think it's a monkey. So no, you were wild.
All right. Anyway, GPP options. Let's go ahead and hold off the cash core, TJ. I think I want to switch gears because we want to reserve 30 minutes for Jock Market, and then we'll start talking about it. So, guys, Jock Market. What is Jock Market? Jock Market is, first of all, our sponsor, so shout out to Jock Market for making this happen.
Shout out Jock Market.
Jock Market's just like the stock market, except for any sports. So you guys invest in a certain person. If their stock rises, you make money. It's that simple. Just like an open market type scenario. You buy and you bid on certain players in the pre-market, watch their stock rise throughout the night. You can sell them. You can sell them high if you expect them to drop off in production for the rest of the night, and you can sell them, make your profits whenever you want. TJ, I know you have a lot to say, and I know you've been crushing it. So do you mind talking about what you've been doing these past couple nights?
So haven't really been crushing it, but I've been playing a little bit lighter over there than I have DraftKings, and now Super Draft easily has my eye as well. But Jock Market is honestly, Matt, it's the most fun that I've had in DFS in a little bit here. So I just want to explain what Jock Market is. So it's one of the most innovative ways to play daily fantasy sports today. So just like Matt was talking about with the real stock market, Jock Market allows you to buy and sell players to earn profits based on their performances throughout the day and night. So they offer so many different sports, but in terms of NBA, basically the way it works. So unlike normal DFS sites, once the slate starts, you can make numerous changes to your stocks by buying new players that you think will continue to perform well throughout the night. And then you can sell off guys that you think might potentially underperform. And right now, Matt, there is a lot of overlay that they are running. And I've just had so much fun using Jock Market.
Yeah.
So my success over the past 2 nights. So I have made money over the last 2 nights here. And what I've been doing is I've really been not going all in, but I've been really honing in on one guy that I think is super undervalued in the rankings in the upside that they do show in potential matchups. So it was on 2/11. So this was on Wednesday night. Kawhi Leonard was my big play. I had 9 shares of Kawhi at $10 a pop. So basically what that means is they were playing against Minnesota and Kawhi was coming undervalued just in terms of the matchup against Minnesota and the potential blow up. But obviously they were all with Paul George. So they had Kawhi currently ranked. They had him at 13th pre-market,
which is crazy.
So basically, yes. So what I did is, Matt, I put my buy-in for Kawhi. So all he needed to do was be north of 13. So coming greater than 13th, rather. So anything better than placing 13th, I made money off of Kawhi.
And he realistically should have been placed at like top 5 that night.
Yeah.
It was a
competitive game. Yep. It was a competitive game against Minnesota. He ended up finishing 6th. So I ended up making $35 just off of Kawhi Leonard. So that was my big play of the night there. Last night, Matt, I had to go with the guy that has been a thorn in the Celtics side for so long. I went with Kyle Lowry, who in the pre-market was ranked at 22nd. So again, I bought Kyle Lowry. Nobody was really on him. So I just needed him to do better than that finishing rank of 22nd where he was at. So that's kind of where I put my money on him. I had 10 shares at, what did I have you at, Kyle Lowry? At $6.15. That was the final bid. He ended up finishing 14th. I ended up making $25 off of Kyle Lowry. So what I've been doing, Matt, is I've been trying to find guys in Jock Market that they have that are undervalued, that people are kind of getting away from, and they don't really have too much interest in. And those are the guys that I'm going in on. And of course, these are guys that need to be popping on the sheet. Like I want to pick guys that I feel confident playing. Again, Kyle Lowry is somebody who's had a lot of success against the Celtics in the past. And then Kawhi Leonard with no Paul George the other night. People were bullish on him because of the matchup against Minnesota. And my thought process was, okay, if this game stays competitive, like Kawhi's going to go for 50 plus easily. He ended up going for 54. Again, no Paul George helped that decision. And people weren't on him because of the matchup. I took my chances there. Ended up working out really well. Last night, Matt, also, I was really high on Frank Mason. I had 10 shares of him. So my thought process there was he was very cheap. Not a lot of people on him. He was very low in the rankings. So I bought him to where he needed to finish. Let's see here. Obviously, it didn't pan out for me because he was 47th in the pre-rank, Matt. And we had the pending injury with Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I saw what he did last game when those guys were out. And then when Cole Anthony left the game with the shoulder injury, I knew Frank Mason was going to play minutes. Yeah, if the opportunity presented itself, it did. Played 4 minutes and got hurt.
Yeah.
I think I would have been in a golden spot last night. I think I easily would have made probably $60 in totality.
Right.
Unfortunately, I only made $15 because I ended up losing money on Frank Mason because he got hurt. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But I think it was a really great buy. So I think incorporating the numbers that we have to offer here with the cheat sheets that we do.
Exactly my
Discord
point I was about to make. Yep.
And yeah, incorporating that and trying to find cheaper guys, I think is big. But Matt, I've been really big on trying to find one stud that I can kind of go all in on for the night. I think that's a really good strategy that I've been using. Again, I have been going in on some cheaper guys here. Like last night, I was on Frank Mason. The night before, I was on. Let me just pull it up because I had so many people that I was on the other night.
And I also want to state real quick, guys. If you're following the stream right now, DGF20 is our official link. Or it's our official promo code right now. For all you guys listening right now, all you have to do is sign up if you haven't already. Download Jock Market, DGF20, and we're about to give away some easy plays, some easy buy lows right now. So, Yes, and that's not the correct way to pronounce it in our chat. So we get that was a joke. Anyway, DGF20 is the code that you guys need to use to sign up. Helps us, helps you guys. You guys get $20 match for up to $20. And we will start going through our favorite plays tonight. We're literally just looking at our own projections, and I haven't even opened up the app yet. So this is going to be all raw, unedited, our favorite plays here. This is the sponsored part of the stream, guys. I'm sorry, I cut you off about Frank Mason, I think. Oh no, you are muted. Why are you muted?
That's why I knew something was weird.
Go.
Okay, yeah, no, you're fine. You cut me off on Frank Mason. It's okay. I didn't really have too much to say about him anymore, except for was in a good spot, didn't really work out. So tonight, Matt, guy like Julius Randle right now, ranked 5th in a really good matchup. Why do they say he's? Oh, that's from.
Ooh, Julius Randle is ranked 8th on the free one too. So.
Hold on right now. They have this wrong. Where is
DJ goes, I'm a majority owner of the market if that's the case. What's going on, TJ? You're struggling?
Okay. Yeah, he's not on. Yeah, I am struggling right now. What is IPO market? Where is perfect, Julius Randle. Okay, there we are. Okay, I was on the wrong. I was 13. I got my data mixed up. Yeah, Matt. So I'm looking at Julius Randle currently ranked 8th right now. I really like that in this matchup against Washington. So that might be the guy that I do go all in on. I think he could have an absolute monster night against Washington. Unfortunately, will be tough to outscore guys like Jokic, Luka, and Giannis. But again, it is tough to try and figure out between those three who is going to, end up in that number 1 spot, because that is what we are going for here. Because whatever amount of shares you have, the valuations of this guy, whoever finishes first, you get $25 per share. Second is $20 per share. So you're really trying to hone in on one of those two guys that could ultimately finish in that top 2, Matt. Do I think Julius Randle can get there? Probably not. But do I think he can get top 5 and make some money off of? Yes. I also think Cat is in a really good spot too at 7, Matt. So I think those are two guys I'm going to be really high on. Russell Westbrook is going to be probably one of the guys that gets a lot of buys on. So it's going to be really tough to get a guy like Russell Westbrook. So I'll probably be avoiding him. Gobert at 16, Matt, does pique my interest a little bit going up against Milwaukee.
I'll tell you what, Matt, now, I already have my 2 favorite plays by far.
Go ahead. Who are they?
All right. So why the heck is Jason Tatum down here at 13? And why is Jaylen Brown literally right below him? We know Jason Tatum, it pops better on our sheet, TJ, when we put in the calculator, 1.51 fantasy points per minute, something ridiculous like that. Yep. Yeah, at 13th, no, we have him overall right now 4th in terms of overall projections, TJ. So I'm extremely bullish on Jason Tatum right now. I think that he's in a very good spot here. Should easily be in the top 5, assuming that this game does stay close. That's a big what if, TJ, because if this does stay close, then he's going to shoot all the way to the top. Another player that is flying under the radar, we've already talked about him during the stream here. Did I say Kyle? Wow. Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton at 19, TJ, right now. We haven't projected. It looks like the top 10, so can move easily 9 spots right now. Assuming this does stay competitive, it's the highest over-under. If Giannis is all the way up here at 3, well, then Chris Middleton shouldn't be too far behind. Might even have a possibility of outscoring him, TJ. That's my bold prediction for tonight. Chris Middleton in a fantastic spot. Those are super buy low candidates, and my 2 favorite plays by far, and they're both studs if you want to consider them studs, TJ.
I like that. Matt, a couple of other guys that I am looking at. Al Horford currently in the 28th spot. No one has put a bid on him. So I think it's a guy that might potentially fly under the radar here. Playing against Denver. I currently have him right now with the 11th most DraftKings points on the night. Again, that is barring that this game stays competitive against Denver. Right now, 28th. So that's somebody that is going to pique my interest. Andre Drummond, 32nd. DeRozan, 33rd. Like, these are guys in this mid-tier range that I'm going to be extremely interested in. Isaiah Stewart's obviously a guy that everybody's going to fall in love with, so I think he's going to be a little bit too expensive for my blood. Currently ranked 46th in the pre-market. You got a guy like Kyle Anderson right in front of him, Matt. Why not take a chance right there on Kyle Anderson?
Yeah.
Trying to look at some cheaper options, too. Josh Jackson would interest me there at 58th right now in the pre-market. Kobe White, 60th right now in the pre-market. Kevin Huerter, Matt, has been playing damn good for Atlanta.
Yep. It's that Maryland blood.
He right now in a really good matchup against the Spurs in a game where I think could potentially shoot out is 62nd. Now, this is a guy in Kevin Huerter that's got his price all the way up to 6K. He's had two 40-point DK performances in his last 3 games. I do think he has some upside here against the Spurs. Now, mind you guys, for those of you playing Jock Market, it is exactly the same in terms of DFS scoring. It's just that every single missed shot is minus 0.5.
So Westbrook might not be the best play is what you're saying?
So exactly. So you need to take that into consideration when you are thinking of a guy like Russell Westbrook, because you could easily see Russell Westbrook come out and shoot 10 of 30, put up 60 DraftKings points, but in terms of Jock Market scoring, might not finish as high as you might think. That's why, Matt, like some of these bigs, like Jokic obviously being number 1, I understand, but like that's why Julius Randle at 8 is somebody that I'm interested in. That's kind of where my interest lies. Like I think some of these bigs can really get you some easy bunnies down low, and they're not going to lose as many points in terms of missing field goals.
Yeah. So they do penalize you for missing shots. So when you talk about these bigs like Jokic, he's always at the top of the board there. And even Giannis is somebody who rarely shoots the ball, and when he does, he's always wet. So I do like Giannis always, being up there at 3. But yeah, my favorite guys tonight are going to be Tatum and
I love Tatum.
And Middleton. Middleton is my second favorite guy. You guys can go ahead and lock him in. If you guys are following us here on this Jock Market stream, sign up using code DGF20. You get a free $20 bonus, guys. It will always be at the top of the stream. Helps support us. It supports the stream. And, of course, this is sponsored on Fridays. So thank you so much for following along, guys. TJ, real quick, I'm just going to get to some of the questions because I'm being spammed with questions if you want to continue to talk about Jock Market real quick.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so again, guys, for those of you who aren't playing, Matt talked about it. Use code DGF20 if this is something that potentially interests you. It's stocks for DFS. So I've had a blast playing it so far. Been doing it for, I want to say this is going to be my 9th night. I'm up $46. Nothing too crazy. But again, I haven't been going as heavy as I do on DraftKings. I'm still getting used to everything, trying to implement some strategies. But again, the cheat sheets and leverage sheets that we do have are huge, and especially when it comes to Jock Market, I think it's a great tool that you can use to pick out some guys that are really undervalued here on the open market. So Matt, right now in the open market, I'm going to put a bid down. I'm going to buy some shares of Julius Randle. I'm going to buy 10 shares of Julius Randle.
TJ likes to diversify for you guys who follow stocks. Diversify.
It's all about diversifying. So I just bought 10 shares of Julius Randle at $5 a pop.
All right,
so I would need him to finish better than 10th. Go ahead.
We got some Jock Market questions, TJ. You ready for them?
Love that. Hit it.
Okay, DJ. I think that's Height, by the way. Height, I know who you are. I missed the question. Is there value in Whiteside on Jock Market, TJ, tonight?
Did somebody ask?
They really did. Yeah, somebody did.
So Whiteside,
Whiteside
unfortunately, is not in the pool.
Okay.
So there is no value in a sound like that.
Denzel Valentine, a good value pickup. I'm assuming, is that season-long fantasy, or is that for this? Oh, he is down here at the very low.
He's 78th right now. Yeah, I think you can buy low on him if you want to. But unfortunately, like the payouts for any of those guys that aren't going to really crack the top like 40, I don't really know if it's worth it, honestly, Matt, because I mean, 39th gets you $3 a share. So my objective is to get anybody that's going to finish in the top 20, I think, because I think that's a safe enough payout. Obviously, the top 10 would be ideal. But yeah, I think those cheaper guys like Denzel Valentine, he has been benefiting, but his minutes have been coming down a little bit. They still have Wendell Carter. They have Hutchinson out. They have Markkanen, and they have Otto Porter. I currently have Valentine projected at, let me find him. Valentine. I have Valentine, Matt, currently projected at 24 DraftKings points. So nothing too crazy. It's not somebody that I'm really high on for Jock Market today.
What's Vooch's ranking from Sano? Vooch is 5th. So I think that's pretty priced accordingly. TJ, I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Yeah.
It's a Sacramento pace-up spot, so he could easily be one of the top scorers. But 5th, I mean, he's going to probably finish right around that mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys have any more questions about Jock Market? We will get to the DK questions here, I'd say in about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll finish with our cash core. TJ, does it sound like a plan?
Yes, sounds like a plan.
All right.
I'm currently diving in and spending all my available money. Again, high on Julius Randle. Really love the matchup tonight against Washington. I think that pre-ranked of 8th right now is a little too friendly. So I'm really interested in there. You mentioned Tatum, man. I'm buying me some Tatum right now. $6 a pop. Hopefully that holds. I would only need him to finish 22nd or better. So yeah, I want Tatum. 8 shares of Tatum bought. Guys, and the thing is, if you are playing Jock Market, like, you really need to be paying attention, especially right before the IPO locks. It's normally around 2 minutes before the slate starts. Notifications on for Jock Market is huge, especially if you have a lot of guys that you've already purchased, because you can see those shares evaporate at the snap of a finger because there are so many people in this open
I don't know why I'm
market.
showing my screen.
You need to be sharp and you need to be paying attention, especially if you have some cheaper value guys, because those guys easily can get bought out in 2 seconds. So yeah, Matt, right now I got Tatum, I got Julius Randle. I kind of want to buy some Horford just because of the. Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you showing?
I don't know. I'm just I wanted to see if it even appeared. All right. Also,
Okay.
Kobe White, TJ, is at 59th, and he's projected on Jock Market right now at 25.86 points. We haven't projected over 30. I like that. I actually like that a lot. I think that's another one of my favorite options. 59th, and he's playing 34-ish minutes. I definitely like that matchup. If it stays close, I like Kobe White averaging 1.07 fantasy points per minute.
I don't hate that, Matt. I think I need to put a bid in for Isaiah Stewart. Like, I feel like it would just be dumb not to.
Yeah, but you're gonna get outbid like ASAP.
I 100% will, but I am going to put what I have left. So right now I can tell you who I have, the 4 guys that I'm in on tonight. So I have 4 current orders, Matt, and obviously they're not going to be filled until the IPO ends. So I have to be monitoring the situation. I have 10 shares of Julius Randle, $5 a bid, so I'll probably get outbid there. I have 8 shares of Jason Tatum at $6 a bid, probably get outbid there.
Yep.
I like to shortchange him at the beginning, Matt, and see what else is out there. I have 5 shares of Andre Drummond at $4 a bid, and I have 9 shares of Isaiah Stewart at $3 a bid.
So if you guys want some added laughs at the end of our streams, we go over to the pre-lock live stream, and TJ just sits there and complains about him getting outbid every single player that he has.
Dude, it sucks.
It's hilarious.
It's like, and then my phone sucks, so I lag a little bit, and then all of a sudden I blink and I have like 3 guys when I originally had 10, and it's just
at like $1 a share. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think okay, that's an aggressive username.
Fine. Just don't even.
Okay. Let's move on, TJ. I think that we spent enough time. We got about 5 minutes left in the stream, so we will switch back to DraftKings, guys. Thank you for listening again. DGF20 helps us out, helps the stream out, helps you guys out. Match up to $20 once you deposit that. Just free $20 to even just test out Jock Market. All right, let's go ahead and switch over, TJ. Let's give them what they want right now, which is the cash core. If you had to lock in 4 to 5 again for DraftKings, not Jock Market anymore, who are you locking in, TJ?
Back to DK, Matt. Okay, so if I'm locking in anybody, I'm going Isaiah Stewart and Peyton Pritchard, obviously carrying the highest ownership, so 3 pieces. Russell Westbrook, as much as it pains me at 9K, I really think he is going to be a cash lock for me as well. I think my 4th would be Jason Tatum. I really like the spot here. I think he's very cheap at 8,800.
Okay.
They're going to rely on him heavily, especially with no Kemba. So I think those would be my 4. Garrison Matthews, I'm actually surprised that his ownership didn't come up.
It did come up on my screen.
What do you have, Matt?
17.1. That's still relatively low, but it's within that cash range.
Okay. I do like him as well as a cheap option. But yeah, I think I would give Isaiah Stewart, Peyton Pritchard, Russell Westbrook, and Jason my 4 plays.
Mine's very similar. I'm going to take up the 2 center spots, TJ, just because I think there's a very obvious center that we can.
Isaiah Stewart.
Exactly. Peyton Pritchard and then Russell Westbrook. I think that you can jam Tatum in there as well. I'm not a huge fan of the matchup. I think there are better options. I think Vucevic has a higher ceiling, and I don't think you disagree with that either, depending on what happens with these injuries as well. But okay. Anyway, those are my cash locks, guys. We will answer any last-minute questions. We'll give it about 5 more minutes. I know that I got spammed with questions in the premium YouTube chat, so let me start, TJ, by going over there real quick.
I'm sorry, I just keep coughing in your ear. I don't mean to. Sometimes I'm not quick enough to.
Oh, trust me, I've gotten better with mine too. Yeah, it's tough.
So I tried to. That's why the one time you were like, "Hey, TJ, what's up? Why aren't you talking?" And I was like, "Oh, it's because I was coughing. I had to mute my mic."
What about Matthews at 3K starting for Washington? Yes, he is now cash viable. I think he's a decent option.
Go there.
Not NBA related, but will there be super draft picks for the MMA sheet tomorrow? If so, go ahead and throw in your super draft promo. Do you know what, TJ? Yes, let's go ahead and include those tomorrow. I will upload my super draft protections with those multipliers. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Give them what they want, right? That's what we're always about. I'm starting to feel better, by the way. So this is the best I felt.
About time.
I know it feels like it's been 2 weeks now, even though it's been just over a week. All right. PJ Washington out. Yes, thank you, Sneaky. I'm looking at Hachimura tonight. He's the second best option for that team behind Russ. And I'm looking at Sexton. His price is way down, and Portland is terrible defensively. Completely agree with you, Height, on both those stances. I do like Sexton, $6,600, relatively cheap. We haven't seen him that cheap in a very long time. And Hachimura is one of my favorite GPP options as well.
It's been a minute.
So completely agree with you. Is the leverage sheet a good source for Jock Market? The way I would utilize the leverage sheet for Jock Market is by just looking at the projections, because if they are mispriced, or I guess the projections are off on Jock Market and we have a completely different projection, you need to attack that person one way or another, okay? Especially if we're very bullish on them. Russ is looking to pass more than shoot now on the Wizards. I don't know if that's going to be true tonight, though. That's the big thing. FanDuel, single entry thoughts: Rozier, Pritchard, Lou Will, Mitchell, Matthews, Middleton, Giannis, Stewart, Gobert. Yeah, I actually don't mind that lineup. Lou Will's going to be lower owned. He actually has strung along some pretty good games. I don't hate him. Super draft plays tonight. Guys, for Super Draft, we make it extremely easy. You ready for this? Hit that projection button at the very top, sort by the largest, plug and play. Seriously, that's how easy it is. If you're MMEing, just turn on the randomness, crank it up, and just pick those top like 8 players. Seriously, TJ, I've done it the past 3 nights, and I've cashed 3 nights in a row. Yep. Literally, it's been and 50-50s it cashes every single night. I think one night I barely missed the GPP cash line, but again, it's still easily cashed and double ups every single night. Do you prefer Gordon Hayward or DeRozan? I like Gordon Hayward now. I do like DeRozan as well, but I think Gordon Hayward gives a nice little gets a nice little boost tonight.
Gordon Hayward.
That's all I have, TJ. It is now your
your turn. I'm gonna bang out as much as I can here, Matt.
That's what she said.
Cash lineup from Porter Jr., Herter, or Anderson. Last spot. I like. Give me Kyle Anderson. Cash lineup from Hudson. We have Westbrook, Mitchell, Matthews, Tatum, Stewart, Pritchard, Conker, and Luka. Concher for Memphis is going to carry low ownership. 3K, I know that, and he's probably going to play around 20 minutes, so I don't hate him. But I think that's your one spot. I think he can get you value, though, 15 points. So I do like that. Kobe White or Darius Garland. I like Kobe White. LaMelo or DeJounte Murray. Give me DeJounte Murray. Another lineup here, Matt, from Nick. We have Westbrook, Mitchell, Middleton, Hayward, Stewart, Pritchard, Matthews, and Jeremy Grant. Thoughts? I do like that. I think you need Tatum or Vooch in there, though, if you're running that for cash, Nick. Sano said, I read TJ's messages saying Plumlee was out, and I thought he was trolling, and then I got the note. Okay. Is Matthews starting? Yes. David has Russ, Matthews, Middleton, Tatum, Stewart, Pritchard, and Mitchell. Last piece, Matt, 6K. Who do we like at the 6K range? Let's check that
Jordan Clarkson.
out. Okay, I know you like Clarkson. If we're running cash, I kind of like DeLon Wright, honestly. I would have interest in Fournier if he plays. I'm not too high on that landing spot, honestly. I think my play would be DeLon Wright. I kind of like Michael Porter too. But yeah, I can get behind that play, Matt. I can get behind that play of Clarkson. I think Miles Bridges, too, is a decent piece. Oh, you know who, Matt? I'll go Hachimura.
What's Hachimura's price? Oh, 57? Yeah, I think Hachimura is a great play, and same thing with Jordan Clarkson.
Matt, Zion or Porzingis tonight?
Ooh, I like Porzingis for upside.
Going up against each other, you do like Porzingis? Okay.
I just like him because he's so volatile, and if you're looking for upside, then yeah. If you're looking for safe, you already know who I'm going to say.
Zion legit is between like 38. He's always around 35 to 45. It's like, it's always clockwork. In that range. So if you're looking for that type of production, you want to go with Zion.
Know what you're going to get.
You want a higher ceiling, you want to go with Porzingis. Matthews or Grayson Allen? Give me Matthews starting now, but I do like Grayson Allen for tournaments. Any Chris Middleton? Yes, we do like Chris Middleton tonight. It's going to be him or Giannis that obviously snaps off, but we do like Middleton. What was the cash locks again? So my cash locks were
Your cash locks were
Isaiah
Gallinari,
Stewart,
Tice,
okay,
Sadiq.
Isaiah Stewart, Peyton Pritchard, Russell Westbrook, and Tatum. And Matt went Isaiah Stewart, Pritchard, Westbrook, and Vooch.
Yep.
I think you can have all 5. Jokic or
TJ.
What was that? Jokic or Vooch? Vooch, yes.
We're a minute over.
Oh, we're a minute over. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end it, guys. I'm gonna update all the super. What's up? Were you about to answer one more?
I was gonna say, great night to join Patreon.
Yeah.
$20 a month. Link is below. If that's something that interests you, if you're on the edge, we'll give you the edge stuff. So stop on by.
Yes, Orlando, big slate breaking injury news also. So if you guys haven't signed up for Prize Picks, DGF as well there. Super draft link below, and also DGF 20. We have all the promos for you guys, all the partnerships.
That solo stream tomorrow night?
For you or for me?
For me?
I think I'll be ready to go. Yeah,
Okay.
me and Paige decided we're miserable regardless of whether we go out or not, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, guys. With all that being said, have a great rest of your night. I will update all the projections and the Patreon, and let's cash.
Good luck, guys.